Hey, it's Maria Fernandez, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my home birth experience. So basically, I had my baby at home, and a lot of people are like, home birth, like that's so like antiquated, like old times. And the reason why I chose to have a home birth is because I watched the video, The Business of Being Born, and it really influenced me on choosing to have a water home birth. My midwife, Kim Bradlee, was phenomenal. I highly recommend her, and I will put her website if any of you decide to have a home birth. And she's local. I mean, she even goes all the way to Amherst, so you don't have to be from the Merrimack Valley. She'll travel, and I guarantee she's one of the best. Such a great person, Kim Bradlee. So I'm really happy with my decision. So here's the real facts, okay? If you're thinking of having a home birth because it's not going to be painful, no, that's not the truth. Because, giving birth, being in labor hurts. Some women, for some reason, I've seen on YouTube, they have like orgasmic birth. They say, oh, it wasn't painful at all. I had it in 2 hours, 3 hours. Yeah, those are like few, and maybe that was the second or third child, but no, it was not a walk in the park. But I prepared myself mentally. I read a lot of books. I did a lot of affirmations. My husband and we did a lot of like exercises, like perineum massages, ice tests, like where I would hold pain and he would talk me through so I could get my mind off the pain. And that really, really, I would say, helped a lot in the first stage of labor. Because when I first started labor, it was like at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, and I could handle all the pain of contractions till about 5 p.m. Like the next day, and I was just like, oh my god, they got intense. The contractions got more intense. So when the labor's contractions got more intense, my midwife was like, maybe you should go in the jacuzzi in the water now. So definitely the water being warmed, it just felt so much better. Like it just felt like I could handle more of the contractions. But I would tell you, I definitely threw up. The day before, I had diarrhea, so it's like the body was emptying itself out. And I was in the jacuzzi in the water. It was nice and warm. It was like a cave. It was like I had candles on and like chanting Indian music, and my husband was so supportive. I had like the best partner in the world. He kept trying to give me food. Like he gave me coconut water because it's electrolytes. He gave me tons of water, ice, and then melon and nuts, or it's hard to eat when you're giving labor, but you need to eat because you need energy. So I would, whenever I was uncomfortable, I couldn't bear it in the jacuzzi, I would get up, go to the toilet, or I would go in my yoga ball, or I would go to the floor and be on all four like a bear, and then I would go in my bed and lay down there, and all of that helped. Like I was just kept moving, like, and then I went from cold and hot. I had all like, oh my god, like nothing was comfortable, because when those contractions come, you're like, oh my god, here they are. But when you have that break in between, like that 2 to 3 minute break or 5 minute break, it does feel so good. Like, thank God for breaks. And when it was time to push, like I knew I had to push because I had gone to the bathroom and I saw my mucus plug release, because I saw like blood and like this thick gooey thing in my toilet bowl. So I was like, oh my god, there's blood. And so I really got excited because I'm like, oh my god, this baby's coming. But I mean, there was still like a good hour or so before she came. But I was just so excited because I'm like, oh my god, finally, like she's about to come. So I went through the contractions, and I'm like, 3 pushes and I'm gonna get this baby out. And that was just me trying to encourage myself. It didn't take 3 pushes. It took more, like 12. So every time I got a contraction, I would go in my squat position, which I practice a lot, and I would just push, and it was just so like primal. Like I had like the weirdest sound, like cave woman, like rah! Like I probably woke up the whole neighborhood. But they told me they didn't hear anything, so I don't know if they're lying, but I thought I was pretty loud. My midwife said I did beautifully. So, and my husband said, oh my god, I felt so bad for you because you look so much in pain. So I don't know. Like, I just know that I pushed, and each time I could just put my hand there, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel her head. Okay, all right, two more pushes. So I knew, like, I kind of knew, like, what my body was doing. I was really in control. I was, like, in there. My husband was right behind me. Midwife was just looking. So basically, me and my husband had the baby. Like, she was just there monitoring, just putting the Doppler, just making sure the heartbeat just stay steady. And once I saw her head come out, I was just like, this baby's coming out. I don't care if my ass rips. Like, I don't care. I'm like, I want her out. Because that's to the point that a woman who's giving birth gets. Like, you're just like, I want this baby out. Like, take her out. Like, even though you're scared, you're more like, please, I want relief. And so once I saw the baby and I pushed and her head came out, that's when the midwife came in. She put her hands in, and the baby's shoulders kind of rotated and moved out, and the baby came out. And it was just immediately like the happiest day of my life. Like, my friend told me, you haven't had your happiest day, and she was all right. Like, it was the happiest day. I automatically felt like so good, even though down there I was burning, because you feel like this, because the vagina is like expanding, it's opening up like a rose. So I felt like, oh my God, I feel burning, but I don't care, I'm gonna push her. So when she came out, I was still burning. But I was like, oh my God, thank you God, thank you, my baby. Like, so happy, so excited. And there was blood in the water, but it's like, you don't care. Like, you're like, your baby's here, she's in my chest, and she's just like crying, and she's so beautiful. And then you do what mothers do. Oh my God, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Oh my God, look at her nose. Oh, why are you crying? So, my husband was really emotional. He was so happy too. It was such a great feeling. And it was just exactly how I envisioned it. She came into the world very quiet, very relaxed, and everything that I planned came out. I did plan that it was going to hurt. I just didn't know how much it was going to hurt, because I have never given birth. So yeah, it was tough, the hardest thing I'd done, but man, I would do it again for that little baby. It's such a reward. From the jacuzzi, we went into the like my bed, and we waited for the umbilical cord to stop pulsating. My husband got to cut the umbilical cord, and yeah, like, we were just so happy. I tried to breastfeed her. I mean, she wasn't really latching, and I have very little colostrum, so that was hard, but it was just such a blessing. So I highly recommend a water home birth if you don't like hospitals, and if you don't have a relationship with a doctor, and if you're the type of person that feels that giving birth should be something as personal as like making love. Because like when I made love with my husband, it was just me and him. So I didn't want that many people there, which hospitals, you could have the doctor and 5-6 nurses plus students, and you could still have a home birth, and the midwife could give you epidural or give you Pitocin or whatever drugs if you need that too. I decided that I didn't want to do drugs or birth. I kind of wanted to be a warrior. And I just don't know, like, you're taking drugs. I didn't want my baby to be drugged. So, I mean, people have their own choices, but this is my experience, and I just wanted to share with you, and highly recommend for you to do a home birth, especially if it's your second child. If you feel like your first one, you don't want to because you're not sure, but definitely try it. It's worth it. I'm great. Like, within I was walking right away, and I just it was exciting, really exciting. Painful, but like they say, you forget about it. All right, well, see you. Thank you for watching. Bye.